Hey guys, and welcome back to the Retail Rip Review. Today we're on the Junk Wax rookie hunt, and we're looking for Chipper Jones, Atlanta Braves legend. Growing up a Braves fan, Chipper was always the first name that came to mind for me, and I'm sure so many other Braves fans. So I have a collection of early 90s packs here that all have a Chipper Jones rookie or kind of rookie adjacent card that would be awesome to come across in them. And then just for a palate cleanser here, I have a 2023 Topps Series 2 hanger box. So maybe we can look for some more modern day good rookies like Corbin Carroll or Gunnar Henderson. Let's go ahead and take a look at our packs and see what we're looking to find. Now, I don't want anyone to get any ideas. We're not going to turn into a junk wax channel or anything like that, but I do think it's fun to switch up the content and get some variety in here. So we have 3 different packs here from the early 90s that have our Chipper cards in them, theoretically. First one we have here is just the standard 91 Bowman packs. These actually do have gum in them, so maybe if we find a good quality Chipper, I'll celebrate by eating a stick of this gum. Yeah, probably not. But also in the 91 Bowman class, there's some other good rookies to look for. Mike Mussina, Jim Tomei, and Pudge Rodriguez, I think, amongst others. Next after that, we have some packs of 92 Stadium Club, Series 3 specifically. So this is like the higher number series. The reason I chose Series 3 because as I understand it, and there's always a chance my information could be wrong, but there's a series of inserts in these that features the #1 draft picks of the 90s. So there's 3 of them in there because this came out in 92. Chipper was the first overall draft pick in the 1990 draft. There's also a card in there for Brian Taylor and for Phil Nevin. So any of those would be kind of fun to come across. And although it's not a true rookie card for Chipper, it is kind of lumped in with his early, rookie and rookie adjacent cards in there. And there's also a really cool Ken Griffey Jr. card in here that would be fun to come across as well. I do love Stadium Club. The photography is awesome. And the last one I'm probably most excited about, this is the 91 Upper Deck Low Series cards. And this does contain Chipper's true Upper Deck rookie card in here, so hopefully we'll come across that. But for kind of a stretch goal here, there's also a really cool Michael Jordan short print card in here. I think it's the first card in the set actually, but it's him taking batting practice with the Chicago White Sox. So it's a pretty rare card, and it actually still has pretty good value today, so that would be really fun to come across in here. Not saying we will, but something else to keep an eye out for, because if we're just looking for Chipper, we're going to miss out on some other stuff. Let's go ahead and check out our packs. And let's go ahead and start out with our 91 Bowman packs. And it doesn't even really bear mentioning, but just in case, once again, it's a lot easier to get a specific card if you're looking for it, just to go online and find that card. It's not like the Chipper cards that we're looking for are even rare or expensive or valuable or anything. We're just doing this for the fun of it. All right, so here's our gum on the back. Actually looks not too bad. Obviously hard as a rock. You could use that as a hammer of some sort. I got some dust on these boys. I guess you kind of expect that. I don't know if that's from the gum or just disintegrating paper. Ooh, some ding damage up here for Rex Hudler. Let's go through and see if we find any of our rookies here. Brian McRae, there's Walt Weiss, recently named manager of the Atlanta Braves, in fact. Kind of disappointed, honestly. I was hoping they would go for something a little bit more exciting, but you know how these things go. Here's an MVP stamped card with Matt Miski. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but also all these cards are extremely dusty. Player of the Year in the Northwest League, made his debut in Spokane 1990. Well, good for you, Matt. Let's see, Rick Aguilera, Juan Samuel, Charlie Hayes, and Derek Livernois. Livernois? I have no idea. Never heard of some of these people. All right, no Chipper there. Let's see what we get in pack 2. With junk wax too, it's like you'd have to get a ton of them to probably find the card that you want. So like I said, this is all just for fun. Brian Barnes, Zane Smith, Bob Welch, Mel Hall. There's Kenny Rogers. I feel like Kenny Rogers comes up a lot in these packs. Hey, there's Barry Larkin. It's got a cool baseball cross bat stamp up here on the top. I'm not sure what that's all about. But Barry Larkin, a tremendous player. I'll go ahead and put you on the stands for fun. There's Rafael Palmeiro, 90s slugger, implicated in some PED stuff as you were in the 90s. Let's see. Bill Gillickson. All right. Moving on to our next pack. Man, all of these are just so dusty. Okay. Javier Ortiz, Glenn Allen Hill, Jack Morris, There's Ryan Sandberg again on that stamp card. I do like that, whatever this embossment means. I'll have to kind of check that out, but seems to be at least limited to the good players here. Lenny Harris, Arthur Rhodes, there's Jeff Treadway, Atlanta Braves. Grew up with some of his family, actually went to school with extended family, like cousins and things like that. But it was really cool knowing somebody who was related to a professional ball player. And our last Bowman pack. Let's see if we're going to get anything. No chipper so far, but haven't seen any of the other good rookies either. All right. We got some turned arounds. I don't know why. Danny Darwin. Let's see. Craig Paquette. Bobby Thompson. There's Ryan Klesko. Awesome. I mean, it's not chipper, but I don't think this was this Klesko's rookie? Made his professional baseball debut at Bradenton '89, Sumter and Durham in 19. Okay, so actually this may be his debut card then. It's got a bad corner up here, but at least we found an Atlanta Brave. Well, no disrespect to you, Jeff, but an Atlanta Brave of note. Yeah, a lot of bad corners on these. But what do you expect from Junk Wax? Here's another one of those cross bat cards with Cecil Fielder. And let's see here. Greg Brock, Terry Steinbach, Jerry Brown, and Sandy Alomar. So unfortunately, we opened 4 packs, and all we got to show for it was 4 sticks of gum. On to our next ones. All right, and our quest for chipper continues with our 92 Series 3 Stadium Club cards. Let's check them out. So the insert, I think, is actually pretty rare. I mean, not rare, but not that common. So I'm not sure if we're even going to see any of them, let alone the chipper one. But like I said, that would be kind of cool to come across. Here's one of our Members' Choice cards with Chuck Knobloch on it from the Twins. All right, Tim Scott. Oh boy, I hate when they do this. Bill Landrum. There's a checklist card. Now we've got some turned around boys. Boy, they're just throwing them in here in all sorts of ways. Anybody who wants to join the Stadium Club membership, here's some information on there. Let you pause the screen on that. Here we have Greg Vaughn, former Slugger. Well, Slugger. It didn't make it seem like he had passed away or anything. Ramon Garcia, Lance Blankenship, Mark Leiter, Jeff Innes, Mark Eichhorn, Fitzgerald, Jeff Reardon, Matt Young, and there's a Brave, Francisco Cabrera. I have to double check my stories, but I think, was he the Brave famously in like the early 90s, late 80s? He missed a game because he got lost on the way to the stadium. He was just driving around 285, like the highway that goes around Atlanta, and just couldn't find his way in. Man, I'm not sure if that was him. If it was somebody else, I apologize. But that's just kind of fun stuff that we used to get into back in the days before GPS. Look at George Bell here with that amazing hair. We got John Russell, Clay Parker. There's Frank DePino. Here's another of our Members' Choice Clubs here with George Brett. Like those. Put those kind of off to the side. Let's go ahead and flip these boys around. Scott Kamenicki. Storm Davis, Rob Murphy, UB Brooks. There's Kenny Lofton. All right. Yeah, he was for the Braves there for a brief stop, but definitely more of an Indian, I would think of as a Cleveland Indian. There's Andres Galarraga. Speaking of the Braves, oh man, here in the Cardinals gear. Kind of forgot that he did that. I always think of him as an Expos player and a Rockies player and then a Braves player, but apparently also on the Cardinals. Here we have another one of Chuck Knobloch, but just Chuck's face. There's Jody Reed and Darryl Kyle. As I said, these cards definitely better to look at for me, at least. I don't know, they're in better quality, and I think just because the card stock is already better, I just feel like you're dealing with a better baseline of card than some of these other early '90s ones. There's Gary Sheffield, Rick Sutcliffe, Mark Parents. Our Members' Choice is going to be Nolan Ryan. Very cool. And there's Gil Heredia. Let's do our flips here. Oops, sorry about that. Stadium Club Bars, Baseball Analysis and Reporting System. Man, this is some early sabermetric stuff. Pretty cool. Scott Aldred, Mike Fetters, Kevin Ward, Darren Reed, Kyle Abbott, Charlie Hayes, Rodney McRae, Dave Martinez, Tom Edens, and Glenn Davis. All right, so nothing so far. Still have hope here. We've got 3 more packs left here. We got to get something. Start out here with Greg Swindell, Bill Bregman, Chris James, Ron Robinson, Ted Wood. Don't know who you are. Leo Gomez. There's Bobby Witt's dad, Bobby Witt Sr. Cool. Floyd Bannister, another Bars card. There's Ron Gant, Atlanta Brave. Go ahead and put you up there. Eric Davis, Kurt Stillwell, Jack Daughtry, and Hector Villanueva. All right, 2 packs left. Where are you, Chipper? I don't know what I expected. I guess I expected to find at least one. And not to say that we won't, but it's not looking good here. Jeff Branson, Corey Sander, Dave Fleming. There's Barry Bonds card. Awesome. I like that. This is card number 620. I didn't mention that, but that was another one that I was kind of had an eye on because it was him in his Pirates gear. I like that. Let's go for our next round here. We got Eddie Murray. Every time Eddie Murray comes up, I feel like he's in a different uniform. Here he is in the Mets. There's Dave Winfield, Frank Viola, Jeff Parrott, Mike Witt, another membership card, Randy Myers, Turner Ward, Hector Scott, Wally Joyner, also briefly a Brave, and Juan Bell. All right, this is our last pack. Let's see. No Griffey, no Chipper. Man, at least we got Bonds. That was nice. All right. Mark Dewey, Rico Rossi. Chris Jones. There's Sammy Sosa. I think this was the first year he was on the Cubs. That's kind of cool. Von Hayes, membership. Eddie Taubensee, Bob Walk, Jeff Shaw, Keith Miller, and Tony Pena. Oh, man, unfortunate. Nothing doing in the Stadium Club. Maybe Upper Deck can save us. All right, this is our last hope here. Surely they won't let us down, right? All right, here is our 91 Upper Deck Low Series. Also, the wrapper says to find the Nolan, so we'll see if we can find the Nolan. There's Jerome Walton, Reggie Sanders. Let's just kind of go through these a little bit faster here. I don't want this to be too long. There's our nice little shiny Mets thing, like that. Mitch Williams, Ramon, George Brett. All right, no doing there. Next pack. These foil packs always seem so secure. Should go back to those. Americans. Barry Jones, Kurt Gibson, Jimmy Key. Oh boy, losing the plot down here. Come on, guys. And our sticker is going to be the Padres. Very cool. There's Mark McGuire. And there's Greg Vaughn again. And Rick Sutcliffe. 2 packs left. Nothing doing. Very disappointing here so far, honestly. And I can't get that pack open. There's Nolan Ryan. Very cool. I mean, it's crazy to think about. And like I was just looking at his stats the other day, but sometimes I forget that Nolan Ryan pitched into the 90s. Like not even 1990. Like I don't even know when he retired. Was it 93 or 94? Like he was in his mid 40s. So that's kind of crazy. All right, here's one of our little illustration cards here. Ah, I dropped it. Fielder's Feet. Very cool. Cecil Fielder of the Detroit Tigers on the Members' Choice. I'm a big fan of these cards in general. I don't know, it was always just fun getting something different in some of these packs. There's Mo Vaughn, or Maurice Vaughn as he's known in there. Very cool. Rob Murphy, Lenny Dykstra, Lance Johnson. Our sticker is going to be the Giants. Scott Bales, Mackie Sasser, Brian McRae. There's the crime dog, Fred McGriff, in his Blue Jays outfit. We all know which one he wore the best. And there's a Brave, Steve Avery, Poison Avery, pitcher for the Braves in the early 90s. He was a good young phenom there for a while. Let's see, Jerome Walton, Darren Dalton, and Ken Howell. So, you know, we got a few Braves people here, and some Braves adjacent people, Fred McGriff. It's our last chance here. Are we going to come through? Chipper, are you in here? Derek May, Kurt Miller, Chuck Knobloch, Rob Dibble, John Wetland. There's Gary Gaetti. And our last sticker is going to be the Reds. Very cool. You got a Fernando Valenzuela. That's kind of a cool card. It's like him in his wind-up motion. Never seen that before. There's Candy Maldonado. Let's see here. Tim Nearing. Some checklists. Dante Bichette, Scott Garland, and Kevin Brown. Ah, man. Unfortunately, Chipper eluded us today. Well, we're going to move on to our 2023 and see if we can find something. Can our hanger save the day? Let's find out. It's unfortunately not good success with the rookies here today, so I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to continue or change here. All right, our big hanger stack here. Let's take a look through and see. Ford Proctor. There's Bo Bichette. There's rookie Groshans. Carlos Perez rookie. There's the Milwaukee Brewers team card. Brewers get rowdy. Walk off in Wisconsin. Adames and Tellez celebrate after 10th inning win. Daniel Bard, Alec Thomas. There's the Mariners team card. Slam Diego adds Soto. This is a different time here. It's changed teams a couple times since then. Machado and Soto continue to make things tough for opposing pitchers. There's George Springer, Jose Iglesias, J.P. Crawford, Spencer Steer on the rookie, TJ Hall, Logan O'Hoppe, there's Stanton, and we get our first card up here, our first parallel. This is going to be Drew Rasmussen of the Rays. And behind that, we've got a rainbow foil of Evan Longoria when he was on the Diamondbacks. And behind that is an All-Star American League card, the 35th anniversary of Babe Ruth. That's pretty cool. Very happy to get that. You know, these have kind of the same stylistic impact as these new MVP cards do in the update series. Here's another insert here with Dalton Varsho on it with the significant statistics. Outs above average of 18. Okay. And our Stars of MLB, we're going to have, here's Gunnar on the rookie, even though it's a Stars of MLB. Gabby Moreno, Alex Manoah, and Tristan Casas. All right, let's look through the rest of our rookies here and see if we can find anybody. Charles LeBlanc, Reed Detmers, Luis Ortiz on the rookie, Bryce Johnson, Josh Young, Jake McCarthy, Bryce Wilson, Javier Assad, Kyle Wright, Kerry Carpenter, Le'Veon Soto. Man, lots of rookies, but doesn't seem like we're going to find the people we're looking for. And Ronnie Enriquez to end it out. So, you know, unfortunately, we didn't find what we were looking for, but we definitely saw a lot of names along the way. As far as this 2023 hanger, I really do like this Babe Ruth card. So happy to pull that. I wish we could have provided some chipper for you, but that just means we've opened the door for potentially a round 2. I'm not sure. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for checking out some junk wax with me. Just something a little bit different. We'll get back to some modern stuff in the next episode. But I hope you had a good time looking at some of these old names with me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.